Hi everybody and welcome back to SpeedForce Racing. My name is JB and I'll be taking you through tonight's proceedings of the Premier Division-ish here in SFR. But let's run through the point standings as it stands here in Premier, because it's Medium Pilot in P1 and Nickel in P2. Nikos is in P3, though he's not here tonight, and James Braden is in P4. Dobby is in P5 and Walters is in P6. John Terry is in P7. Samu is in P8 and Bugatti is in P9 and Abiodine is in P10. Outside of the top 10 is Glock in P11, Perez in P12, though I think Glock has actually left us for the season. Maxilius is in P13, Spyrus Virus is in P14, ZZ Flow is in, Reflow is in P15. Jesse Tony, though he has been blacklisted, is in P16, Stam is in P17, Ibrahim is in P18, David is in P19, and Raikkonen is in P20. Here are the point standings, the construction standings, McLaren firmly at the top in P1 ahead of Renault in P2. Oh, that's nice. Renault in P2, and then Red Bull in P3, Williams in P4, Ferrari in P5, Racing Point in P6, Alfa Romeo in P7, Mercedes in P8, Toro Rosso in P9, Haas is in P10. But I'm not on my own tonight because I've dragged him out for the depths of Norway. Hello to Twan. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, and you?
I am absolutely fantastic. Now, I did mention at the start of the stream, it was the Premier Division-ish, isn't it? Because we have a few GP2 drivers in with us.
Yeah, a lot actually. I think it's not that good to have that many people not coming.
Well, I'm gonna make one even further for you, mate. There's just been a comment in the chat, in the drivers chat, from Perez in the Force India, and he's just questioned why we're not at Baku. And if you recall, we did announce pretty heavily that we were running a mixed-up calendar now due to the F1 game coming out so early.
Oh, someone's forgotten that. Yeah.
Yeah. We have reminded. It's all over the Twitter, which I'm now going to go and deal with now.
Yeah, Twitter as well as in YouTube, the group chat, and yeah.
So he fell into a trap, he's saying. So he's going to be driving with no practice whatsoever. Let's get this tweet up and going. So Abraham out on the track already, but in these wet conditions, it's immediately changed the race for all the drivers who haven't done wet practice, hasn't it, Twan?
Yeah, I normally don't run wet practices, and I think I should. So I think it really makes a difference. At least you don't have to take that many laps, but just to get used to it. It's really strange to go right out and wet.
Trying my hardest to tweet at the same time as commentating is very difficult. But so we're looking at Abraham right now. He started his lap in the McLaren. This track has suddenly turned from an incredibly quick track to a track where you've got to pray that you don't run off, haven't you? This track is slightly more difficult in the wet. Still a rather easy track, but at the same time it's going to be a tough one to get right.
Yeah, you have especially the corner he just went through. You need to be really careful on the throttle. Because if you take just a bit too much, you go right into the wall.
To be honest, that happens in the dry as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why it's extra. You need to be extra careful in the wets. Because even in the, as you said, even in the dries, you can spin out there.
There we go, get that out. Right, the tweet is out, so shows how grown up I am having to get tweets out. But yes, so this is the Premier Division. We're finally here, lovely and jubbly here in Austria. This is the final leg of the SFR Austrian journey before we head off to France next week. Abraham starts us off with 1:14.1. We'll try and find who was the second across the line. It wasn't the GP2 driver. It may not have been Medium Pilot. Where's Fotio? No, trying to work out where everyone is on track is getting difficult. It's Electro Dan, the GP2 driver. No, he just started his lap. Alright, so a little bit of gardening talk. Wishbone the cook is going to get really funny. That's Orchard David. So with the new PlayStation name changes, he's changed his name. Have you considered changing your name, Twan?
I have pretty new names, and at least I'm now in a team, and that has also changed my name, going to new leagues and stuff. So for me, it's pretty new, so I don't have to. Maybe my old account, maybe, because it has a really silly name. So.
Well, look at that with Dobby as I just skate over that as Electro Dan skates across the curves there. If you look at Dobby, he's just gone fastest by 2 seconds, a 1:12.7. That shows the difference in lap times. We were looking at 1 minute 4s in the dry, weren't we?
Yeah, you even see on the time trials, at least, you can see people going on the 102s. I think in quali you go closer to the 104, maybe low 104s even, for the Prem guys. So
look at
it's
that,
a big difference.
The GP2 driver, only 2 tenths off the Premier driver of Dobby in P1. That's phenomenal for GP2, isn't it? A good boost for their drivers.
Yeah, you see, I mean, you have so many good drivers that you've bound to get a few people at least on the GP2 who can match the pace of at least the second to best drivers out there in the Prem.
Watch you, David, taking that though. Sorry, whispering the Cook now, so I'm going to name it the Cook. Orchard the Cook has gone P2, matching his Salva teammate, but still a fair few tenths off him there in P2. This track is so difficult in the wet. We've seen Yellow Flag set to 2, but we're looking at Medium Pilot. He's just seesawing in the car as he tries to get it all turned in. The McLaren driver just struggling on throttle application. Coming around through the final couple of corners now. First left-hander, second left-hander. It seems to be a pretty darn turn of pace for the McLaren. See what he can do. DRS open, going to go first by 1:12.090. What a lap there from Medium Pilot. I didn't think it would be that quick. I honestly didn't.
Oh, that's really quick, yeah.
So sector 3, the yellow flags are waving. We'll see a lot of those this session. Only 14 drivers setting out tonight, and a fair bunch of them saved by Dobby showing off there by a minuscule margin, improving to beat Medium Pilot. But a few of the drivers GP2 here, so like Z3, I believe his name is. I call him Z3. Cator and not Photo, sorry, God Colors are all GP3 drivers. Same with Electro Dan. So we'll see what the GP2 drivers can do here in Austria alongside the Prem guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drivers going. They're skating all over the place. So
would that hint, that lack of traction, hint towards them hint towards it being a dry race?
Oh, that would be really nice. I think the best way is wet quali and then dry start and then go over to wets again. It's really
Medium
good.
Pilot improving by another 2 tenths to decimate Dobby's time of 1:11.8.
Yes, you see, at this time you can just see the drivers just getting used to the track and just feeling where the grip is, and then because you don't have to take you don't have to come in, so you can just set on a bit of fuel and then go a few laps to just find where the grip is, because you have the time and you have the tires don't degrade that much, so
yeah, you can really just go for laps every second of the lap. Here's Orchard Sox, the GP2 driver, reserve driver in the Red Bull, trying to get his car turned in, kicking the rear end out just a little bit as he gets his DRS open on the Aston Martin Red Bull to start his lap time. No DRS, sorry, it's the wet, of course there's no DRS. Everyone would think I'm new to Formula 1 with that comment. Oh, big oversteer moment,
hopefully in a few years you won't have it, so.
I've been watching Formula 1, mate, since I was a kid. I remember before there was DRS.
Futuristic. You're just futuristic.
Yeah, I wish. There was no DRS when I was a kid. There was traction control, no curves. It was all done properly. Back when Michael Schumacher was dominating Formula One. God.
Oh, you're coming to say you're gonna say like everything was better in the old days, right?
The cars were nicer, I feel. Like, I look back at it, I really liked the Honda in 2004 that they had. Was it the BAR, one of the two? It was still powered by Honda, and just the shape of the car was so nice. But I do like the aggressive lines of the new cars, so much cleaner, less like winglets everywhere, you know?
Yeah, I was 1 year then, so in 2004, so I don't remember that much of it.
Otter Sox has abandoned his lap, so we're going to join on to Kator, the GP2 driver, see what he can do. Got in a few scrapes and bashes last night and struggled to continue on in the race, but he's going to try and make his mark stick in the Premier Division, improving by 1 second, but still 2 seconds off the mark. Well, he's in the Williams, so that's highly likely. But if it is a dry race, the drivers are going to have trouble adapting once more to it being a dry track, aren't they?
Yeah, I think you had like specialists for wet weather, and you have people that are really good at adapting. So you will see how used they are to changes like this. It really shows.
It is disappointing though that we don't have a full grid in Premier, because this race would have been fantastic if it was wet here in Austria. It would have been great to see the full grid go around, but still 14 drivers, I think 13 drivers if you exclude Nell, who's here just for invites. But still, let's see what Ocean Sox can do. Hopefully he can finally get a lap time in, adapt into the game still with this halo in front of his face. Crossing line, he goes P12 of 14.3. Clearly driving Pierre Gasly's car. So, Fotio running up now. What can the Ferraris do? It's interesting to see that the Ferraris are down in 8th and 9th. Ferrari seem to be reasonably struggling in GP2, in all divisions of SFR recently. But we can see what goes on. 6 minutes after qualifying, we have the yellow flag in sector 2. That's further back. I wonder who that is. Is it Smelly Badger? No, it's not. But Dobby improving once more on his fresh intermediate tyres. Oh, wow, that's close, isn't it? Look how close that gap is.
Yeah, you can see at this time the ideal line is really drying up. You can see the line is forming.
It's not drying up enough for Otter Sox though. He almost went round as he fights that Red Bull. It really is interesting. I love watching him drive in the wet. I used to love driving in the wet as well. Sector 3, the yellow flags are waving for Orchard Sox, sorry, who pulls off. Now, it's Z3, the Norwegian driver, hitting the wall as he lights up the rears in his Ferrari a little bit too quickly. Doesn't look like there's any damage on his car though. Whoa, that won't help. That's where T. Jonas lost it last night, and where his teammate Peter Solheim almost binned it as well. McLaren had a dire day last night. Still got lots of commentators. Dobby improves once more. Now attempts separating everyone else. He's just a machine in the wet, isn't he? But it has stopped raining, indeed, so we might get some dry running right at the end of the session.
Yeah, I think the last 5 minutes now, everyone are just going to go set quicker and quicker laps. So, I don't think we're at least not secured that Dobby will get the first place yet.
Abraham going 6th, the Season 1 champion of SFR. Returning to us, but immediately dethroned by Electro Dan, the GP2 driver. Electro Dan, who actually won last night's race. Sorry, I had to remember who he was. I did ask him in the podium ceremony if Electro Dan sleeps with electric sheep, which was a funny joke. I will not stop saying it. Excuse me. But yeah, if he does go dry weather running and Dobby mistimed coming into the pit lane for dry tyres, it could have anyone on pole position, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think everyone at this moment of time, everyone has the same. So, I mean, it's basically zeroed out now because they have dry tires now.
Potentially.
So if everyone
tires.
sets a time, it's just like it's zeroed out.
Yeah, I think we'll see some dry tyre running in a bit, but it's going to be close towards the end. I know that we can see that Wishbone and Foccio preparing to run the dry slick tyres as well, the ultra softs and the super softs.
You can see Medium Pilot and Cater are both going out on another set of intermediates, so I don't think they have seen that the track is drying up. I think they will come in again and change tires.
It's really interesting. Obviously, a really short lap round here is showing a 1:11.7, the fastest lap right now. Dobby sat there with his slick tyres on the car, preparing to come out when he's needed to. We'll move on to have a look at Cator in a minute, which I just do up my bottle.
Oh, water. I forgot. How can I forget?
Easily done. But Cator improving by 2 seconds, getting him up into the 114s. Z3 saying that he doesn't like the rain. I love the rain. I think it's great. It's my favourite type of weather as well. Gold colours coming out on the intermediates, doesn't think it's going to start raining. It looks like it's dried out remarkably in the last couple of minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah,
you see,
Medium Pilot came back into the pits now. I think Cater went out for a quick lap. Yeah, he did.
Run now, yeah.
So he will probably not go onto
Dobby's
the.
Dobby is out on super soft tyres, everyone.
Oh, I thought he crashed.
No, he's out on super soft tyres, so he's looking very comfortable. He wants to try and do it, and there it is, the telltale sign that it's dry enough now. DRS has been enabled. And this race just got very interesting in the last dying moments. If they don't get out the pit lane now, they're not going to make it round to 0 lap time. Actually, I don't think they are going to make it round to 0 lap time if they're not careful.
Yeah, I think Cater comes in now and he speeds into the pit entry, so I guess he gets a warning.
I think Dobby, Cator and Smelly Badger are the drivers in the most trouble right now with it. Now we're on board with Dobby, we're going to do a run down lap with him now. The time should tumble dramatically as it seems that someone's spinning sector 2. Dobby a little bit gingerly through turn 1, DRS enabled once more as he's running down, chasing after that looks like a Red Bull, it looks like Socks. I think it will be Samuel. It is Socks now up into turn 3. Braking still gingerly is the Alfa Romeo, trying to get the car turned in. Lots of rear end slip as he slides onto the DRS straight. More like Colin McRae than Dobby right now. And then the Formula 1 driver braking hard at the 100 metre board, heading down towards sector 2, towards the midpoint in sector 2, sorry. Lots of yellow flags everywhere as drivers try and scramble to get out of the way. 40 seconds left of the session. If they don't get around the pit lane soon, they're not going to get it done. I think Gokko is in trouble here. He won't get us another lap time. Ibrahim looks to be ahead, or Medium Pilot. No, it is Ibrahim ahead of Dobby right now on track. So a nice bit of toe for the ultra soft runner ahead of Dobby. It might concede him a little bit trouble into the final couple of quarters, but no trouble as such for Dobby. DRS opening once more. A proper lap time is now going to be a 1:07.7 for Dobby, and the drivers all coming around. 10 seconds remain. Who's going to be last across the line to start their lap time? Not going to be Samuel, he's missed the line.
It looks like C-Trexer is the last one, but Cater comes out now on the ultra softs. I have no idea why he does that, but
I think it might have just been a timing mistake for him. Medium Pilot, Dobby retires. Medium Pilot now is the first challenger. No, he's not, sorry. Ibrahim is the first challenger. The other McLaren is the challenger, the 45 car, to try and get up there and past his teammate and past Dobby. But he's wide. That may have cost him his run at pole position. He's still attacking every curve, and I think that bit's cost it there. but he's still going for it. Samuel is fastest though, on 105.3.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Dobby invalidated his lap.
Gigantic.
I apologise. Wishbone goes
That's a
second,
lot.
Perez goes third, Abraham goes 7th because he's invalidated that time. Here comes Pilot crossing line, what can he do?
Ooh.
It's P1 for medium
Z-Traxxer
Pilot.
is also... Z-Traxxer is on a fast lap as
he's
well.
invalidated it.
And it... Oh... That's too bad. He was on a really fast lap I saw, so...
But there it is, Z-Traxxer comes in 11th for the GP2 driver, but pole position here tonight for the McLaren of... what's his name? Medium Pilot. I still can't remember people's names though. That was an exciting qualifying session. We don't need to race anymore now, do we? So
it's
the
enough.
British
We can just
McLaren
stop now.
driver, British McLaren driver ahead of Samuel, the Spanish driver, in P2. Then come the Irishmen of Wishbone, the Cook, and Orchard Sox in P3 and 4. Perez is in P5, Dobby is in P6, Electrodan is in P7, Abraham is in P8, Gorka is in P9, Photo in P10. That concludes the top 10. Outside of the top 10 is Z-Traxxer, Smelly Badger in P12, Cattle in P13, and Linel, who's just here for invites, is in P14. Alrighty then. Oh, those are dry tyres on it. So the top 10 will, if they qualified on the... oh, this is going to add in a whole new dynamic, isn't it?
So dry? Oh, yes. That's good. Just got my water and fix my lights.
I don't know if you picked up on the stream, but he's ran off to go get his water, and he's going to fix his lights now. That's interesting. He's going to be an electrician midway through. So, a whole new... a whole new dynamic has been added to it because of the drivers who qualified, who did do those final runs on the dry tyres. They'll be if they qualify in the top 10, they'll be on those tyres versus everyone else who'll be on fresh tyres. This is going to get really interesting. Okay, so onto the formation lap. Let's run through the grid one more time because we have Medium Pilot in P1 on the super soft tyres. And Samuel in second on the super soft tyres. Wishbone in third on the super soft, and Orchard Sox in P4 on the super softs. Then comes Perez, the first driver on the soft tyres, in P5, and Dobby back on the red tyres for super soft tyres. Electrodan in P7 is on the super soft tyres. Abraham, season 1 champion, trying to put out a bid to be seasons 1 and 3 champions here in SFR, looking on his super soft tyres for a good race. God Colours is in P9, the GP2 reserve driver running the super soft tyres, and Fotio in P10, the first of the Ferraris. Outside of the top 10 and with proper fresh tyres is Z-Truster, or Z3 as I call him, in P11. Smelly Badger is in P12, Cattle is in P13, and Linel, who is here just for invites, is in P14, might go for a few laps. But Smelly Badger, interestingly enough, going on the soft tyres as well. So this is going to get really interesting to see how this race is. Obviously, 36 laps of racing here in Austria, and it can't wait to see what everyone does in the race here tonight.
Yeah, as you said, it's a long race, and I mean, anything can happen at this stage.
You're very far away from your mic right now, aren't you, mate?
Am I? Oh, I am. There you go.
Ooh, hold on. Has it started raining again? It's raining again! Literally at the start of the race, it's raining! Do we have a wet race here? I can't believe that! That's phenomenal!
Oh, good
Thank
spotted.
you, Codemasters.
Really good spotted. Do you want me to take a driver further down, or?
Yeah, take anyone you like, and you can tell us what happens at the bottom of the grid, because here we go to 5 red lights, in now, going to be a very difficult race, I'm choking. 5 red lights are out, the drivers are away. Now it's a good start from Medium Pilot, got to control the wheel spin now in these wet conditions on the slick tyres. Williams already trying to go round the outside of the Force India in the background, but Medium Pilot leads into C1 from Samuel, ahead of Wishbone. They're all going to come charging down now, and Dobby dropping a position to Electrodan. Electrodan on the run, trying to go up and round the up around the Force India, but now Samuel trying to go around the outside for Red Bull, and he has made it around the outside of Medium Pilot. He's made it stick, and Medium Pilot has to give in for second place. Gorko's dropping another position as well, and everyone starts to hustle their way through and find their way round. It is now wetting this track, which is going to get damper and damper as the rain continues. Oh, actually, it looks like the rain's stopped again.
Yeah, I just saw a few droplets, and then when we started, I haven't seen any since we started, so...
Maybe it's hinting towards it might rain later on. No, it is raining now properly on the cars. On
Dobby going for a move on Electro-Dan. Can he get it?
Aggressive move there from F1 Dobby. And he has made it stick, but Dan will have the run on him. Samuel leads us away in P1, ahead of Medium Pilot in P2. The gap's closing in everywhere. Down the inside goes Perez and T1, clipping the back of Orchard Stocks, the reserve driver. Unfortunately getting barrel rolled in there. And now here comes a massive scrap. Dobby trying to find his way past Perez. Electro-Dan trying to find his way past Perez. And then it's all hell breaks loose further down. Dobby dive bombing to try and protect himself from Dan. We're also trying to make a move on Perez, and it has made the move stick. Here comes Fotio, trying to go down the inside as Dobby tries to defend. He has done down the inside. Fotio trying to make a double overtake in one corner. It hasn't happened though. The Ferrari, has to give up that position. The Scarlet Speedster having to just hold off.
Yeah, this is a really good start. Everyone coming off clean, and I haven't seen anyone having contact yet, even though there have been a couple of scraps already.
Shows how clean these guys
really
are trying to be, obviously. The GP2 drivers got nothing to lose in this race, as they've already had their chance. But it looks like McLaren's gone very, very wide. It's Ibrahim. He's now under pressure from Z3. Z3 trying to go down. He has made the move stick on the Season 1 champion, showing that the young blood in SFR is still rich as Lee now retires from the session in Sector 3.
And there's no doubt now, the rain is coming.
The rain is coming down, as you said, and the DRS is still active though, so we can still run on the slick tyres. As Ibrahim, goes around the outside. What are you oohing at?
I was looking at Electro-Dan. He tried to make double overtake on Fodia and Paris, but didn't get the traction out of the corner.
Electro-Dan, obviously, an accomplished GP2 driver, enjoying his run in GP2. A photo dropping past Perez. Perez down the inside on the soft tyres, trying to find any form of grip. He's going to be in a good position when it starts to rain heavier. Obviously, these soft tyres working the best in it. Sector 1 and 2, we have a yellow flag. I'm not sure who that'll be. It might be Smelly Badger. Let's have a look. Yeah, he has dropped down. It might be a half spin for the British driver. Look at the train forming behind Fotio. That is the maddest sight I've ever seen. Do excuse me when I laugh a little bit. Just all those cars going through. Orchard Stocks dropping a position to Dobby. Dobby, who's struggling off the line. He's starting to struggle, I think, on his soft tyres, but the rain is starting to stick.
Ibrahim! He spun!
Oh, suffering where all McLarens have suffered in SFR this week in turn 1, and showing that car is inherently bad. The rain coming down thick and fast on the driver's visor, so let's hope that they got the right ones on. This could be a move for the lead though. Medium Pilot trying to go down the inside of Samuel. Samuel dropping the position, trying to get the run now on the outside. That hasn't happened. The Medium Pilot has considered himself back into the lead of this Grand Prix. This is why I love it when we do races like this, where the GP2 drivers come and join in, because they just get stuck in and they don't bother. Well, they drive obviously cleanly, but they don't bother about championship points or anything. They just want to go and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's really good for the spectators at least. You can see people giving it all just to have a bit of fun, just scrapping around. As Z-Trexter is trying a move on God Colors, can he hold it into turn 1?
Oh, he's run wide. Here comes
he gets a bad
again.
exit.
Cattle on attack, sorry, not Cattle, Gorka's on attack, showing what colours it is. The Gorka's apparently is blue, silver and red, but the Scarlet Speedster ahead of him continues on ahead. And there's a bigger head between Fotio and Perez.
Yeah, I think Fotio
oh, that's dangerous.
Perez a bit wide, I think.
Fotio going deep. I think his tyres are starting to run out.
Going deep,
Abraham on intermediate tyres already. Is that the call? Have the teams called in drivers saying intermediate tyres are right? No contact between
big
Perez.
scrap between.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Ztrexter and Perez. And now
God Colors picks it up.
Yeah, it's a spin now.
Oh,
and
God.
someone's round. Orchard Sock's the big incident.
No.
Orchard Sock's been sent round. Cattle's been sent round for a big collision with Orchard Sock's. God Colors round after colliding with, what was it, Fotio, I believe it was, or Perez?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. I was on with the car in front, so I didn't see. I just saw him spinning.
Oh, there's a bigger one though. Perez has almost lost it at turn 1. Is it the call? Is it ready for intermediate tyres? What do you think?
It's definitely the time. You see people just spinning around and losing loads of time. You see, Ibrahim may even be on a good time to get a few positions, I think.
Abraham looking comfortable in his McLaren right now, obviously repairing the front wing damage he gained from being a McLaren at turn 1 here at Austria with no power. He's got a lot of traction. I think it's time to get those green tyres on as he spins up on the curb a little bit.
Yeah, you see the guys who went into the gravel were the only ones pitting for now, so...
Cattle crashing out in sector 1. Bad day for Cattle, but Samuel is in, and Wishbone, unfortunately, pulling in as well. So that could be questionable. I think the stewards are taking a bit of a dim look at people who are cutting the pit lane entry pretty heavily.
Oh, something's happened. Okay, medium pilot, Wishbone the cook, and Samuel is into the pits. So Dobby is out all on his own.
He's doing one more lap. The same with Godcolor's doing one more lap on the tyres. Godcolor's creeping around in sector 3. He can't do anything right now on those tyres. He's got no grip whatsoever, and we know for a fact that Dobby is not going to be leading this race come when he pulls into pit lane. Fotio, though, still on the soft tyres as he returns to the track.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at Dobby now, and he has no traction now, so he's bound to get in within the next... Yeah, I think now. He shouldn't be out there on the dry tyres.
Abraham is struggling on his tyres, but he's now moved up past Z-Track, and now Fotio, Fotio on the slick tyres just cannot get the car stopped, and that's a bad day for the Scarlet car. I don't think that Ferrari will be enjoying this one. That gives me a nice idea for a team name, Scarlet Racing. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
Dobby is in. Medium pilot championship leader will assume the lead of this race, but let's follow Dobby into pit lane now. There is a Ferrari team ready. I think they're going to be ready for Fotio once he pulls in.
And yeah, medium pilot is already getting into the lead now. Samuel also comes ahead, and Wishbone Cook, and maybe Electra then. No, he's behind, out of the pits. So Dobby is settling for 4th place for now.
Orchard Sock's moving up past Fotio as Fotio pulls into pit lane. I think that's going to be a tough time for him to return to the top of the field. But now there's a big gap between every driver.
And God Colors, God Colors even going on into the grass, into the pits.
Electra Dan right now has the run. He's on the warmer tyres on Dobby, and now he just has to position his car and get it through. In these conditions, if I was driving, I'd turn my differential down to 50, and that helps the car's rear end rotate a little bit better in these wet conditions. But yes, if they're running dry setups, it's going to get tough. Oh. Cattle saying that that was strange. He teleported and lost the wheel coming out of the pit lane. Oh, maybe you have the new Williams. Maybe you had the Williams technology that allowed them to get to the first race, seeing as they, lost their car. But still, now the gaps are forming. This is going to be where it gets difficult, and arguably this is the worst time of the race when we could have the DRS when the gaps form so much, because now we don't have much racing left unless someone makes a mistake or unless it starts to dry out.
Yeah, you see, everyone are over a second. You see the closest is Wishbone Cook from Samuel, who's up ahead with 1.4 seconds. So
it's a massive margin. You can park a bus in that gap. But let's have a look at the grid as it stands right now. We've got Medium Pilot in P1 ahead of Samuel in P2, Wishbone in P3. Dobby is in P4, Dan is in P5, Perez is in P6, Badger is in P7, Sox is in P8, Abraham is in P9, Photo all the way down in P10. Outside of the points is Godcolours in P11 and Z-Trek in P12 after a big oversteer moment in the final corner for the 47 car. Drivers who will continue no further in this race, Linnell and Cattle after he teleported into the barrier, and Linnell after he was here just for invites. So, I think this has turned into now just a little podcast episode where we start talking about Formula 1 as a whole.
that's okay. I can do that.
Well,
so every time is stabilizing now. See, only one person going within 2 seconds of the car ahead. So,
well, that brings up the interesting question of. The question I have is, because they've made these cars effectively slower in the 2019 season, so the new cars this year, do you think, because the teams apparently are going faster, do you think we'll get a sub 1 minute lap at this track this year? I'd love to see that, wouldn't you?
oh, I would love that. I don't think the track is ready for it yet, but I would love that.
It would be so interesting to see maybe Charles Leclerc get the first sub 1 minute Formula 1 lap time. I don't think there's ever been a sub 1 minute Formula 1 lap time, or at least there hasn't been in a fair few years. But
yeah, at least in modern
big rear end moment. Sorry,
I don't think there's been one in modern Formula 1 at least. Which brings us to the next question for you. What do you think of a Dutch Grand Prix?
Now, I've got to remember, you're the Dutch commentator I have with me. So, yes, I think it's a good idea.
Be honest.
No,
be honest.
I haven't seen the Zandvoort track in years. I haven't raced on it in the games in a long time either. Not even on the F1 games in other games. So I don't honestly know how to compare it to the track. So I'd be cautiously optimistic to see. The only issue I'd have with it, if you don't know, I'm not really a massive fan of Max Verstappen. He's a great driver, don't get me wrong, but I think he's not a very nice person in my eyes. He's a bit of a silly bloke. So, but I can just imagine his fans. For me, the amount of fans that he had at Austria, can you imagine that in a Dutch Grand Prix? It'd be mad, the amount of orange in the crowd. It'd be like watching Valentino Rossi, the Italian MotoGP race.
Yeah, I'm at least looking forward to it. So, I think you have a point there in Max Verstappen. I personally like it. It's a bit of fire and a bit of young cockiness, I think, and a bit of character. I think that's good for the sport. To have people that have a bit of character and stuff. To get a bit of feeling of the rivalry that you have between drivers. Because if you have two Kimi Räikkönens, I mean, fighting each other, you get like this. It isn't really a fight. You don't feel like you're part of the fight.
I think for Max, he needs to mature a little bit more and to stop. Like, sometimes he uses his car a little bit more like a NASCAR or like a touring car rather than a Formula 1 car. He likes to brush a lot more, and it's like he sort of gets a little bit closer to what you'd expect in Formula E rather than watching Formula 1 with the amount of contact he makes. I think he'd fit in really well in Formula E, to be honest.
Yeah, I see that one.
Obviously, I'm not knocking anyone that likes Max. You're
no,
totally
of course, you're really political, so
yeah, it's interesting to have these conversations about it. But yes, just to bring us back to SpeedForce for just a moment before we continue talking about random Formula 1 facts. David, yes, Wishbone, who we're looking at right now on stream, we have been looking at him for the past couple of laps. He is good in the wet, but for the last couple of laps he's been struggling. So we're actually going to drop down, have a look at Perez, who's trying to close in on Dan. We're going to try and cycle through and have a look at it. And that brings me to my question as we see the Williams come through. have you seen George Russell's helmet for the 1000th Grand Prix?
I haven't.
He did a homage to Juan Pablo Montoya's helmet from 2004? No, 2003.
Oh, that's cool.
And he did it, so it's half and half. Half his current design and half Juan Pablo's design. And actually, we're going to jump back up and have a look at David, because he's under a second away from Samuel now, so Samuel must have made a mistake heading into Sector 3. This will give you time as well to go and have a look at George Russell's helmet if you do wish to.
I'm going to do that.
So now we'll have a look at it. We'll go to SFR for just a moment as Wishbone is starting to close in. Oh, he's had a big moment though! And Wishbone running up the track. He did well to save that. I think there's going to be save of the weekend. Save of the week goes to Wishbone there with that save. That was phenomenal. But he's still closing on Samuel. This is going to be a good position for him if he can get up there. But obviously no DRS to assist him in a straight line as he's hunting up. He now calling for his teammate Smelly Badger in the Red Bull. Smelly Badger who's driving the Hasselite, but normally a GP2 Red Bull driver, calling for him to do well in P7 right now. But look at Wishbone. He had save of the day. He's starting to close in. It seems that some drivers' tactics of running, maybe running a hybrid setup, is starting to pay off as we're on lap 14 out of 36 here in Austria.
I heard rumors of the teams getting the ability to have custom liveries for the 1000s GP. Do you know if that's true?
There was all talk about it. I think that it has been confirmed that the teams can change their cars to match a previous car that they ran, but obviously without allowing them to run those sponsors from back then, it's going to be a little bit different. We know that Red Bull have changed Esso on the back of their rear wing. They have Esso as a sponsor. They've changed that to a more retro text on it, but I think that's it. From what we've seen, we haven't seen all of the cars out in force. Seen a few helmets obviously come out with the retro designs. Nico Hulkenberg's done a nice retro design. Daniel Ricciardo's done another one retro design. Pierre Gasly's one's horrendous. Max's one's exactly the same as normal. So it's really interesting to look at all of this. I think that it'd be nice to see some of the retro liveries on the car. I'd love to see the first Toro Rosso livery on the Toro Rosso car this year, due to the fact that their first livery was really nice, and it's their 250th Grand Prix. As dog colours pulls into pit lane, we can't imagine what that's for. Maybe it's time for the Toro Rosso, as I said, to retire. No, it looks like he's got no front wing, so it might be a front wing job. We'll see what he might be having. A nose job. No job. He's on slicks. No, he's retired from the session. So dog colours calling it a night tonight. Doesn't think he can improve on a P12 time.
Now we're down to 11 drivers.
Samuel under pressure still from Wishbone. Wishbone starting to close in as best he can, but it seems that on the straight Samuel's quicker. In the corners, Wishbone's quicker, which is just, whoa. Wishbone getting a braking point all wrong for the hairpin. Oh, hold on. It stopped raining.
It is. I was looking at the sky just a minute ago, and I was thinking that it wouldn't clear up in a few more rounds at least, but it's always good to have.
But yeah, that rain has cooled off, so we have no warm wet weather, and now it's time to think about when drivers are going to bail into the slick tyres. So this race is far from over as we continue on here at SFR in Austria.
You see, people have the same conditions as the last bit of
Samuel's made a mistake. He's in the pit lane. Was that a mistake or was that planned? We can see what the Red Bull's planning. Do apologise for cutting you off, my friend.
No problem. No problem.
Here we look. Those are slick tyres going onto the Red Bull. Red Bull taking a risk. And he's back out on track. Dobby now closing in on his teammate. What is going to be the call? Does Fred Vasseur call for their teammates to swap? Sector 2, we have a yellow, and that's Orchard Sox. Orchard Sox is off the track in the Red Bull. Tell you what though, if they did run classic liveries on the F1 cars, do you reckon the Codemasters guys would put it in as a DLC of the 2019 game?
Oh, that would be really cool. I'd like that.
Nice.
So Sox also going into the pits now.
Gaps forming and drivers trying to control their cars the best they can. Perez holding it very long in 5th gear before changing up to 6th to try and get the traction all done. Obviously knowing that it's time to get onto the slick tyres now. And this will be a straight run to the flag now if it stays dry.
Okay, so I see Ibrahim now locking up massively on both wheels. So I think it may be time now for the dry tyres. As Electrodan as well comes in.
Perez though doesn't think so. He's going on for another lap, another tour on these intermediate tyres. Dobby as well going for another tour of the track. I started speaking French now.
So Wishbone and Medium Pilot coming out right after each other. No, it's not. It's Z-Trexer who's... No. Who's that?
Z-Trexer is a lap down. The DRS has been enabled now.
There's a Ferrari behind him, but I have no idea who that is.
There's Z-Trexer in the Ferrari. He is a lap down, so he's been blue flagged and lapped.
Yeah, but Z-Trexer, he came into the pit, so he still has new intermediates. So I think that's
a wrong call from the Ferrari team.
That's a mistake, I guess.
Fotio putting in the other Ferrari, the Scarlet Speedster going onto the slick tyres. Yeah, so that must have been a mistake on his setup there. It's easily done on this game, accidentally pressing the wrong button. So the Scarlet car of Fotio pulls out, and Z-Trexer is going to struggle now on those intermediates once more. Let's have a look at Dobby. He's pulling into pit lane now. He's going to drop down to, I think, about 4th with that with the pit stop. The same with might actually be 3rd with Perez coming in at the same time.
That sounds about right. Do you think that
Perez
someone
with
could
5
pull
seconds
off?
off a go. Sorry, go on.
Do you think someone could pull off a super soft stint?
From what we've seen in the previous divisions, so the sun starts to come out here in Austria, I wouldn't bet on it. I'd play safe and go onto the soft tyres if I were driving. Though I haven't driven in these cars competitively in a long time, so I wouldn't know all of the... Whoa! Something happened with Medium Pilot there. A big bout of lag, but he must have had an oversteer moment. But Dobby on the back of his teammate. It's Fred Besser made a cool. Doesn't look like there is. Looks like they're actually going to be fighting now. What does the Alfa Romeo team do? Do they call for them to swap round, or do they not? I tell you what, Alfa Romeo, I'd love it if they need to make their own identity. The same with Racing Point, they need to change the livery of the car next season to make their own identity as a separate team to what they were before, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've grown to like them pretty much a lot.
Alfa Romeo's lovely with the red halo as well. It sort of stands out nicely as Wishbone gets a 3-second time penalty to add to his woes. I think that's 6 seconds this time now.
I think the problem is at the front side, the Alfa Romeo looks a bit too much like the Williams, I think, from the front.
In the 2018 season, yes. In the 2019 season, less so, with the change of the Williams colours. They're like the lines on the Williams. Obviously, we don't normally see the Williams unless they're fighting each other.
I was thinking the 2018 cars now, yeah.
Yeah, 2018 cars are lovely.
What do you think of the livery of the Williams this year?
I love it, personally. I really like it. I do make jokes, it looks like a tube of toothpaste. But it's,
yeah.
But I still love it. I just wish Williams would get up there. Because if you don't know, my father lives in Oxfordshire. So Williams is my local F1 team that I support with all my heart. Actually, the road alongside where my dad lives is Sir Frank Williams Avenue. So I'm a big Williams fan. Though today, and my profile picture on Facebook does involve me wearing a McLaren t-shirt. But, you know, I hope that Williams can one day get up there. I hope they don't disappear from Formula 1 soon. Because they are loved in Formula 1.
Yeah, it's a shame to see such a big team just going down and down and down and just basically just disappearing.
What they need to do, they need to work out what's gone wrong. And they know that this car's inherently bad the moment that they don't have any spare parts. They've got to not have a Caterham accident where they run out of money, or a Force India point where they run out of money mid-season.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. The only reason Force India was bought because Lawrence wanted to give his son a little drive in a car. I'm not going to talk about Lance.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I'm more of a fan of Lance than I am of Lawrence, because Lance just wants to drive and Lawrence is just, you know, it's Lawrence.
That's true, yeah.
Well, back onto SFR news right now. Austria successfully a time penalty, and Electrodon hunting down after Perez, doing his best to get past the Racing Point car. Was not happening. We're going to jump back up to the Alfa Romeo battle in P2 and 3. And are they driving in formation? In this situation, mate, would you call for a formation? Would you drive in formation, or do you think you'd let your teammate through?
For Dobby and Wishbone?
Yeah.
You think? I think they're pretty similar pace, so I think as long as they don't hold up each other too much, I think I'll just hold it as it is now.
Electrodan kissing the back of Perez as he outbroke himself a little bit in the hairpin. He's the fastest man on track right now in the Williams. You're not going to hear that often, but he is the fastest man for GP2 driver, aiming to impress in the Premier Division. I think Dobby might be getting frustrated at seeing the front of his teammate's car, so he might just want to say, look, I can get through, let me through, and I'll be faster than you. He's aggressively taking lines. He wants to start closing on a medium pilot who is 7 seconds up the road. DRS open once more. Is there going to be a move? He's making it obvious he wants to get through, and Wishbone is not taking any hints.
I think if he gets a good run now, he may get it up the hill. I think he's able to get it at least.
Down the inside goes the 15 car and the 52. The 52 is making room for his teammate and decides not to overly battle him. Good call there from Wishbone.
Yeah, good sportsly drive from both of them. Keeping it clean, keeping it simple. Didn't lose almost no time to Samuel as well, so that's good.
Samuel's going to feel really, really annoyed that he was in a podium position now and he's dropped down to P4. He's going to be annoyed at the end, I think, but you know, that's racing. There was no contact or anything, I don't think, between him. There was a major incident earlier on between Orchard Sox, the Trexter and a few other drivers. I don't know what went on there. It'd be interesting to see what the driver's point of view in that situation was.
Yeah, I wouldn't reckon that he gets... I would reckon that he can get the top 3 actually, because he was, what was it, 4.7 behind Dobby like 3 or 4 laps ago. So he has the pace at least to get back.
Chester with another time penalty as he attempts to push himself well. He struggled in GP2 last night. He's here to try and redeem himself. I believe that he's just aiming to finish this race at this point. But now Perez on the attack, aiming to take P4 away from Samuel. Red Bull not wanting to give up P4 at all. It truly has been an enthralling race, even with so little drivers. It's been enthralling with the fact that of the strategy. I think without the rain, it could have been less interesting. But that rain stopping and starting, and especially where it started on the formation lap, was the most realistic weather I've ever seen in a Formula 1 game.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Oh, I'd love it if it rained this weekend at the Chinese Grand Prix. I'd absolutely adore it. But Perez on the run now. Samuel weaving a little bit on the track, trying to fake Perez into trying to go down the inside. Perez so much more confident on the brakes than Samuel, getting about a 10th in the braking zone. Now on his way round to try and get past the Red Bull. The Red Bull again fast on the straights. It's the same issue that Wishbone had trying to get past Samuel. So quick on the straights, so slow in the braking zones. What can Perez do though? Again, he's just got to get that run where he's right up on the gearbox of the car, and that is difficult to do, especially in these cars where they struggle to follow each other.
No, I think looking at, I think Paris will be able to get Samuel within the next lap, at least. I think he's really close now. I think it should stay behind for a bit longer.
He's trying to bait Samuel out of it, and he's actually come off worse.
Yeah, and getting a 3-second time penalty as well.
A little bit of impatience there from Perez, if you get what I mean there.
Yeah, I would probably try to stick behind him just as close as possible, and then get in on the straight right after. I think that he would come off better doing that.
Trying to get the traction down, struggling out of T3 and struggling to get the traction down. And yeah, again, just the gap forming ahead of him. Ibrahim with another time penalty in P8. That's going to start to put under pressure from Fotio. If Fotio doesn't have any at all, so Ibrahim might be dropping a position off the start. Off the end of the Grand Prix, we have 11 laps to go of this race.
The thing now is, everyone have closely matched pace, and everyone have about the same lap done on the tires, and everyone has a soft, so I don't think the delta times will fluctuate that much at the moment.
It is really interesting to watch this. I mean, if you look at it, Perez is struggling in Tertiera, Samuel, and his tires are going to start to overcook as he gets closer to him. Any driver that dares to go for a two-stop strategy is going to be in a really difficult position, hoping for a late safety car, if any of them do. But Perez trying to find his way past Samuel. He's trying everything he can in that racing point to point his way through past the Red Bull. Red Bull just making your car as wide as possible, but he just strolls around the outside, but he's wide in the gravel, and Perez has given up all of it again, struggling to find a way. Where's Electro Dan? Electro Dan's going to be on the back of that Force India very quickly, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Perez just wanted it a bit too much. You saw him firstly going a bit too eagerly before even the DRS, and now also just outbraking himself. I think a bit of patience would be better for him.
Yeah, a little bit more like Max Verstappen back a few years ago, where he was like, I have to overtake now, when he realised he didn't have to. Sector 3, we have a yellow flag. It's actually Z-Trexter who spanned at the final corner. He's got the car going again, is the Ferrari, but he's still all the way down in P11.
So Electrodan also picking up a time penalty. Do you know who has gotten time penalties at the moment being?
I know that Wishbone's got 6 seconds, that's about it. That's the only driver I can track. We need something added in the next game where we can have like little plus
live
3
timings,
or plus 6
penalty timings.
Yeah, on the screen.
Race director incidents.
Yeah, I don't tend to do that on the stream because it sort of breaks away from looking at the cars on the stream.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do it.
Please do, if you're offering.
Okay, so Cater has a 3-second time penalty.
Ooh, I tell you what, I'm going to interrupt you because Dobby's just gone fastest man of all on track, and he is absolutely siving that gap away at the top. He's still in with a chance at winning this Grand Prix if he can get the power up and beat and then get past Medium Pilot. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Should I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Or yeah. Okay. Smelly Badger has 3 seconds. Z-Trexer has 3 seconds.
Z-Trexer has also a 5 second stop and go penalty after pulling into pit lane. We'll see what happens with this car. Pulling in for a new nose on his car. Just trying to get mileage in that car as best he can.
Yeah, Fodio has 3 seconds. Z-Trexer another 3 seconds. Oh, Z-Trexer has at least 9 seconds on his name.
Sector 1, who's the other thing? Sector 1, it's Ibrahim! He's in the wall again, the same point as he was earlier on in the Grand Prix. That corner is just killing McLarens in SpeedForce racing.
Yeah, has he got any damage?
He's missing his front right end plate.
Okay, he needs to be careful to get out of the way of his teammate now.
Well, his teammate, oh yeah, he already has passed his teammate who has lapped him, but now Orchard Sock's right on the back of Medium Pilot and his teammate, Abraham. So Abraham's going to get out of the way of his teammate due to blue flags, as McLarens normally do. And look at that, Orchard Sock's being very cheeky and just stealing the position, saying, I'll have that, thank you very much.
Oh, Z-Treks are going on the Ultra Softs. I think he will go for the fastest lap or something.
Yeah, he's going to try to. I mean, that's the best thing you can do, isn't it? Just try your hardest and go for a fastest lap at the end of the race. It's worth a drink at the end.
Yeah, you could, I mean... Oh, Ibrahim as well going in now.
As for repair his damaged front wing, so he's going to try and mount a challenge for. Well, he knows he's got the gap. He's still in prime position to get 8 points in this Grand Prix. Lap 31 out of 36.
Yeah, he may as well.
Yeah, look at Smelly Badger. I haven't seen him for a while. Wait for some gaps to form.
So, we will most likely have another battle on track between Z-Trexer and Ibrahim now. So we'll have to keep an eye out for their lap times.
It'd be interesting. Where is Z-Trexer right now? Z-Trexer isn't going to be coming... they're not going to be battling on track per se. They're going to be battling for the lap time, which is going to be really interesting to see. It's much like a Z-Trexer gets another time penalty pushing too hard in his lap.
12 seconds now.
Plus his 5 second stop and go penalty. Which he probably won't be serving.
Yeah, but he came into the pits now, so he probably has already taken that one.
We shall see at the end of Grand Prix, because I think he may have had 2, but he is the fastest man on track, a 1:05.50. But now he's cut to 1. He's aggressively pushing this track to the limits.
He needs to be careful that he won't get disqualified.
Yeah, the black flag primed for the race director. I wonder what the in-game race director will think of that. But the gap's again starting to close down as Wishbone gets another penalty himself. That might drop him down off the podium if he's not careful. Samuel starting to come under pressure from Perez once more as the laps tick down here in Austria.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier on in the race, I don't think Samuel is all off the hook for a top 3 at the moment.
No, he's not. He may still be just there. The Red Bull might get there at the Red Bull Ring here in Austria, just passing that massive gaudy bull. Just imagine there was a grandstand here that was completely orange, clearly for McLaren fans, not for Max Verstappen. Clearly for McLaren fans. I do wish that was true. I do wish that was true. Everyone knows I love McLaren. A little bit too much than I should do. I still look at that team with rose tinted glasses as the team that Jensen drove it.
Oh, that's really realistic. I just saw a grandstand with fully orange, like almost only orange people. That's pretty realistic.
I want to find this grandstand now. Where is it?
I saw it in the background coming through the 90-degree turn. It's turn 2.
I think I got the. Yeah,
I think it is. In the background.
There's a lot of orange everywhere.
Yeah.
There's an extra down into pit lane as well. Won a mountain charge for the fastest lap award. Though there's no point added to it in this season of SFR, he can still go for it. Because why not?
So, Z-Trexer is coming. He's gonna try to lap himself from Photo.
He has every right to, as long as he doesn't Esteban Ocon it. Though it was Max's fault.
Yeah, and he's coming out, and he's ahead.
So he has unlapped himself for his teammate, and his teammate not putting any pressure on him.
Plainly going through. That's good.
And Perez now under a second away from Samuel. We saw this earlier on in the race before Perez got a little bit frazzled and chucked it up the inside a little bit too aggressively, cutting turn 1, and he loses the rear end just a little bit as a penalty for cutting turn 1. Charging down to the end of the straight. He's still gaining on Samuel. He's on younger tyres. Has Samuel overstayed his welcome on those soft tyres?
Electrodan. I don't know if you said it, but he's come in.
I did say it, but yeah, if you could, if you keep an eye on him, because he might be going for the faster lap soon. We know Electrodan's very quick. He's aiming to improve.
I will.
It'd be interesting actually if next game he goes for the number 14, because the number 14 will be available in the next F1 game once more, as Fernando Alonso has obviously departed Formula 1 to go off and race his series where they have no competition. The racing IndyCar where there's all competition.
Yeah, I think it's too bad they don't have the number 13.
In real F1 or in oh, Wishbone.
No, for
Wishbone's made a mistake. He's dropped off the podium. Something's happened where he's lost it at the final couple of corners. Now Perez's battle will go from battling to P4. It's battling now for P3. And he's making a move. He's down. He's just made the move, and Samuel had to let him through. Perez into P3 as a Grand Prix.
Oh, this is looking good. It's getting heated up. It's the second to last lap as well, so they will probably scrap a fair bit for the next.
As you said, the fourth lap of the Grand Prix. Keep an eye on everything, but Medium Pilot now coming through the final corner now to start the final lap. McLaren aiming to make that orange grandstand. All McLaren fans, not Max Verstappen fans. That joke is the best.
You're really against Max, ain't you?
I'm not against him. I feel like his fans might make it a little bit more tribal in Formula 1, you know?
Yeah, just
Sector
pushing
2.
down on a whole nation.
I like the Dutch. I really do. I think they're great. Abraham in once more on the final lap of the Grand Prix.
Can you specify like a special kind of people, Dutch people?
I just like them all. I want to go to Holland and watch different things. I want to go around the world and watch different things when I eventually get like loads of money. Never gonna happen though.
You want to go to the Netherlands to go sightseeing? Pretty
much, yeah. But before we talk about my sightseeing, let's have a look at Medium Pilot crossing the line to win the Grand Prix. He's done it on his own. And then Dobby finishing in P2 ahead. Who's at P3 though? Is it going to be Samuel or is it going to be Perez? I think it might be Samuel on penalties. DRS open. Is Samuel going to be the one in P3? It's not. No, it is. Samuel is in P3 on penalties of the Grand Prix. And Wishbone.
So it gets into the top 3, yeah. At last.
So
Perez going with 11 seconds of penalties. That's massive.
The race is not over yet though, because Smelly Badger under pressure from Fotio. Both of them on very worn tyres. Smelly Badger on much younger tyres though, by a lap younger tyres. I think that Fotio is going to have to concede it, and C-Trek has been disqualified from the session for multiple penalties on the final lap of the race. Hopefully he can calm that down at the end of for next week. But there he is, Medium Pilot P1 here in Austria, rounding out, and our final winner of SFR's trek to Austria is Medium Pilot. McLaren P1 ahead of Alfa Romeo P2, and the Red Bulls coming home at home in P3. What an exhilarating race there, Twan. It really was entertaining, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of up and down. You had in the start, you had people scrapping, you had trains forming, and then the rain came, and you got a few laps of rain in, and then it came back to dry again. So you had a lot of strategy involved.
Here are the results, barring any serious investigation. So apart from that major incident we saw earlier on in the Grand Prix, I don't think we'll be seeing much for the stewards, as I attempt to lock my phone. Medium Pilot starting where he finished in P1 ahead of Dobby in P2. Samuel an amazing P3 after finishing after struggling in the race. Perez P4 on penalties, Wishbone P5 after making a big mistake with 12 seconds worth of penalties. And Ezradan is in P6, and Smelly Badger in P7, Fotio in P8, Orchard Sox in P9, and Ibrahim in P10. Outside the points was God Colours, Cator, Linel, and Z-Trek, who did not finish the Grand Prix. But that was
yeah, good job from Samuel and Medium Pilot to keep it clean all race. Good job to them.
For me, it's a good job to the GP2 drivers, and they didn't have to come in here and race in Prem. They chose to, and they decided to. I think they've done an incredibly good job for all of the GP2 drivers, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Really good. It's good to see, to be able to match.
Let's get the podium sitters in. We're looking for Dobby, Medium Pilot, and Samuel. There we go. Where is Medium Pilot? There he is. Alrighty then, so that's all three invited. And we'll just make sure that everyone's set to share. Samuel, is your voice set to share, mate?
Yes.
Brilliant. And just wait to see if the other two join us. But Twan, nonetheless, that really was an entertaining Grand Prix. I think standoutly, I've got to say, Smelly Badger did an amazing job in the Haas in P7, but it really was an entertaining Grand Prix nonetheless, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. It was. I think there was a few times in the middle of the race there was just a bit too much gap forming between the drivers, but ultimately, all in all, I'd say it's a pretty good one.
Alright, so we've had Dobby join us. Dobby, can I just check that your voice is set to share, mate?
Yeah, it should be.
Alrighty then.
Should be.
I don't know if Medium Pilot will be joining us. I have sent him an invite, so
No.
I don't believe he will. But we'll start with you. Samuel. That's it. Sorry, completely forgetting who you are. Samuel, mate, are you surprised with the podium? I mean, you started high up on the grid, but are you surprised with the podium at the end?
I am, but I'm not at the same time because at the start, I overtook Medium. I had a great start, and then had like great pace. I mean, I think in the first stint with the Supersoft I could keep with Medium's pace, but then when the rain came and I had to pit, and then I made a mistake trying to catch up to Medium. Like I almost ran behind, I almost hit him. And then I think who is the a Sauber hit me, and then I lost that like 3 seconds. Then I had to pit for Inters. Then in the wet, I wasn't feeling comfortable, but I think I was quick enough for keeping the second place. And then I pitted too early for the softs, so that really cost me in the race. And then I had like no pace at the end. Nikos was all over me. I was checking for penalties in front and behind, and I knew that both had 6-second time penalty, so I decided to keep it clean, no corner cuts, and then I let Nikos through because there was no point in fighting him. And then I think I got very lucky for this podium, because otherwise, in terms of pace, in the last part of the race, I wouldn't got it.
But nonetheless, did you enjoy that Grand Prix, battling basically throughout the Grand Prix? You fought every lap with someone, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was tense because we were all together, and it was great fun. And I like Austria because it's that type of track, like very fast corners. And if you make just one mistake, you are out. And yeah, and nice with the rain, the mixed conditions, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So, moving on to next week's Grand Prix, we're heading off to France next week. Are you confident with the Paul Ricard circuit, or would you rather we skip that circuit and went somewhere else?
I like it quite much, but I don't know where I'm gonna be in terms of pace. I think I'm gonna be like in the pack. I mean, in the fifth, sixth position, maybe. I'm aiming for that. But yeah, I like it. It's a nice circuit with a long straight where overtake can happen, but then very, I mean, a lot of curves, nice. Yeah, I mean, I like the circuit. It's very nice to drive.
Well, that's all I've got for me. I'll just check with Twan. Twan, any questions for Samuel?
No, I could say good job. I was optimistic for you getting the P3, so that's good. I need to show, I need to personally show my conscience that I know stuff as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, what a stuff.
It was a great race. So congratulations, Samuel, on P3. Then we'll move on to the second place driver, Dobby, your little house self. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. You see, I changed my name.
I did, yes.
I was trying to get rid of that house elf tag, but obviously it hasn't worked. So.
Well, maybe you'll disappear next time. Maybe I'll just call you the F1 house elf. How's that sound?
No, honestly, it's fine. I mean, like, you knew me from before, so it's understandable.
Alright. Well, just take us through that race. I mean, you battled heavily with your teammate, and we saw you trying to make it obvious to him that you were faster to him. Do you think he sort of understood the signals from inside the car, or would you rather have him got out the way sooner?
No, I don't think he held me up at all. Because when I was behind him, I was just recharging my battery, ready to make an assault on medium pilot. But yeah, I don't think we battled at all. He didn't defend against me when I tried to overtake the inside into turn 2. So I'm massively thankful to him. And I think the rate I caught him as well, like, he probably would have thought, oh, okay, I'm not the quicker driver today, so I might as well just let him through and try and tag onto the DRS a little bit.
So when you say that battle that you were hoping for with medium pilot, it didn't really come. Do you think that was down to just medium pilot's pace, or do you think that the race was already gone by the time you got past your teammate?
Well, I thought I had a small chance, a really small chance, but obviously, medium pilot, you don't want to really be closing I think it was an 8-second gap to medium pilot with 16 laps to go of Austria. It's really an uphill task. But I gave it my best shot. I don't think I've ever pushed so hard in my life. I've got a new wheel, which I'm liking a lot better. Usually we're struggling in the wet, but today, like, I think if it stayed wet in quali, I was on provisional pole. That was where my race was lost today.
So moving on to France next week, another circuit potentially full of the wet weather. Are you looking forward to heading to Paul Ricard?
It's not been a track I've liked. I'm beginning to like it more recently, but I know the medium pilot's very fast on there, so it's gonna be really tough. But looking forward to it. I feel like a new person with the new wheel. So yeah, let's see what I can do.
So aiming to push hard for what are you hoping for in France? You're hoping for? We heard it from Samuel, who's thinking about 4th or 5th. Are you hoping for maybe another second?
Yeah, probably just a podium. I mean, I'd love to win, but it's so competitive. I thought today was a good chance, but I don't know if you saw, but I invalidated my last lap in quali, my second to last lap, but I actually got where it says this and next lap invalidated.
Ooh.
Yeah, right on, and I was about to cross the line. I would have been like one of the last people to cross the line, and yeah, just horrible. I think I caught Ibrahim at a really bad moment. He didn't block me, but he was about a second in front of me, and it really put me off in the last corner, and that's what I blame on.
Blame on the aerodynamics of the car.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely do a little bit, and also I was a bit, I didn't know whether to back off because I could have easily caught him on that lap, because I was way too close to him, but then I would have had to back out.
It didn't help with the fact that Ibrahim was starting a lap at the same time, so he was literally turning every instrument up to go and blast down that straight. So he just got caught in an unlucky moment. I think that's the way you go say it's just unlucky.
Yeah, no, I'd say it was unlucky. I would also say it was, in hindsight, it was a bit stupid because the track was still a bit greasy at that stage, and the next lap was always going to be faster, so I probably actually should have backed off in hindsight, but oh well. I'm still happy with how I did today and the pace in the wet.
Well, congratulations to you, P2. You did an exceptional job to make it a P2. Twan,
thanks, man.
Any comments for Dobby?
Yeah, how do you think the weather affected the race for you?
Yeah, I mean, it did sort of, like, I'm quite good on my tyres, so tyre wear battle was sort of lost. It was more like a straight sprint race because there's quite a, everyone was softs to the end, and the softs can go forever, so couldn't gain an advantage there. But no, I'm really happy with my pace in the wet. Usually I've been struggling a lot, but I get much better feel with this new wheel for the wet, so it's looking promising for the future.
All right then. On that note, I think we'll end the interviews. Congratulations to both of you, gentlemen, and thank you both for joining us for the podium interviews. Congratulations to Medium Pilot, who doesn't join us for interviews, but yes, nonetheless, did an amazing job to get to P1 of the Grand Prix.
No, he's an alien, so he's not. He doesn't speak.
Does he even have a mouth, or is he just like the Stig?
I don't know, but it does sort of go along with the theory that he's an alien, for sure.
Well, I'll just leave you guys to it for just a moment, and I'll come back to you after the stream has ended. But Twan, out of 10, how was that race? I think it was a solid, 8.5 for me. It was a solid 8.5.
I would say 7 or 7.5. I think without the middle bit where everyone had a giant distance to each other, I'd say it could go up to a 9 even.
It truly was a Grand Prix that was saved, which was really entertaining and done on strategy. Thank you to all of the GP2 drivers, for joining us to help fill out the grid. Thank you to all of the Premier drivers that did come and join us tonight. Thank you to both of you gentlemen for coming into the interviews once more. And thank you to you, Twan, for joining me on commentary. I know for a fact that you have to deal with me in the back of your head all the time, so it's interesting that you came to actually hang out with me.
Yeah, it's good to set a voice to it, just so I know that I'm not only speaking to myself.
The entire SFR community knows that they're crazy because they can only hear my voice when they go to sleep. But yes, so that is it for SpeedForce's travelling circus. We're all going to be packing up and heading off to France next week on our little mismatch calendar before the 2019 game comes out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is JB. Have a very nice week, and we will see you next week on Tuesday for GP3. Have a very nice weekend, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ra, guys.